So allow me to share a few words about today's guest, Raya Skogland. Raya is the founder of the visionary company and VC, an investor in 70 plus startups. She's also named the top 100 most influential women in the Norwegian VC and startup space. And she's behind the newsletter From Idea to Series A. In sum, really a go-giver, an active and passionate investor and entrepreneur in every possible way. So grab a pen and a large piece of paper to take notes. So Raya, describe the typical founder who you're really excited about investing in right now.
The type of founders that I look for, of course, we need to take into account many things. We need to do due diligence. Often we get excited. That's the first impression. And then we need to take a step back to slow down and actually find out what we're not excited about. I turn it around. So you can easily get excited by a founder. And the kind of founders I look for that I particularly get excited about is going to be a founder that is sales-driven, numbers-driven, oriented, action-oriented.
Yes.
I have invested for many years. I have invested in idea stage. I have invested in later stage. And for investors, it's all about reducing their risks. So when you approach an investor as a founder, put yourself in their shoes. Think like an investor. What are investors looking for? They're looking for investment opportunity, yes, but what does it mean? High return, yes, but also lowering their risks, because it's very risky to invest in startups. We all know that. So how can we reduce the risks? That's why, for example, within my company, we have an investment thesis. It's a 9-page document. In that document, we describe the different aspects we want to analyze when we meet a founder and company. 9 pages. So we go through the team, the product, the IP, the sales, the contracts, and many other elements. So my kind of founder is a founder that is sales-driven. I want to see sales even before building the product. I want to see money coming into the bank account even before building the product. Or at least, depending on a business, it can be a business that, hardware, tech-heavy and so on. I still want to see commitment from clients. Commitment can be letter of intents, can be prepayments, can be a client investing in you. I have done that before, so I know what I'm talking about. I had clients and even sponsors. Why not sponsors if your business allows it? I had clients and sponsors paying upfront today for something I told them that I was going to deliver in 6 months. But because they needed it, they wanted it, I sold them the vision, the purpose, based on a PowerPoint presentation. I told them, this is what's going to look like, this is what we're going to do, this is who we're going to target, but I need your money today to make it happen. Instead, this is the same pitch you would do to investors. I need your money today to make it happen. Instead, I went to clients and did that pitch. So I don't have to sell my equity. I just tell clients, I need your money today to make it happen, to give you the product. And I still own the company 100%. So in any case, I like founders who are sales-oriented. And it's not just me who likes that. If you want to secure funding, if you want to secure your business, it's all about making money. There is no business if you don't have cash. Cash is king. So these are the kind of founders I'm excited about.
Fantastic. Very important. And that's going to be a valuable piece of advice for those starting out. What opportunities in the next 2 to 3 years are you carefully watching as an investor?
Well, everybody's into AI. This is also another trend. 2 years ago, it was VR, then it was Web3, and then crypto, It's like every 5 years, you see them coming back.
Yes.
So I would say in any industry, there are opportunities. Within any industry, you can make money. I'm into technology that solves a problem today. I'm not interested in a technology that is too futuristic. I was that kind of founder, even myself, because I'm a founder investor. I was myself 10 years ago into, we're building this is the future. And no, you want to build something for today. Or that can be ready for in 2 years. But even even then, it's very risky. Build a technology, build a company that solves problems today, so you can have clients today. So I am into SaaS, software as a service. I'm into technology that solves today's problems.
So you're mostly interested in technology solutions, or are you also interested in non-technology?
I mean, it depends on the case. Sometimes you meet a company, a founder, and you fall in love with everything.
Yes.
I've invested in non-tech companies, but very, very few. If I remember, only one, I think. I invested in some hardware companies like VR sets and so on. I won't do that anymore unless, there are always exceptions.
Yes.
So that's why I focus on softwares, and most investors will focus on software because it's scalable, because you can get more and more clients while your costs can be at the same level. Yes. That's why most investors go for SaaS companies, software as a service companies.
And we have seen that a lot more women are entering the entrepreneurship and investor game. And of course, you've been around for a long time, but there is a wind blowing in the direction of female entrepreneurship. What do you think female entrepreneurs what are the key benefits you believe more women can bring into the entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem?
I think they bring, of course, probably more than what I can think of.
Yes.
But I see two main things. One, it's the risk management. Women usually don't take as many risks as men. This is a good thing. When you run a business, you want to minimize the risks. You want to think about all angles, about how, from a legal perspective, from a PR perspective, communication perspective. Not all women are like that. Like, I'm a big risk taker. So luckily within my investment company, I have another woman and I have 4 guys as well. And we're often counterbalancing our forces, because I'm going to be like, hey, let's go for it. Let's do it. And she's going to be like, hold on here. Look at this. So, and this is something I haven't seen within many men, the risk management. But again, I'm generalizing here to keep it simple. The other element that I see women can really contribute with, it's empathy, taking care of people. People are everything within the company. People are also your clients. So women would be more, because as women, we have been brought up as, future mothers and caring and being kind. So this is something that women bring within companies, which increases the well-being of employees and well-being of the company. That's my opinion. And of course, I haven't analyzed the data and as hard.
But there is a trend, and I think it does provide a lot of value. And I 100% agree with you.
And also something else is that women understand women. Really? So women also invest in women more because they understand the companies, the products they're building. When a woman would be, let's say, building a product only for women because it's about period pain or about breastfeeding or something like that, it's very going to be harder for a man to understand these problems, to relate, to understand the market, the market potential. Some men do, okay? But in general, people invest in what they understand. Just like me, even if I have an opportunity, I see a good opportunity on paper about a company within a space like health tech, but I don't understand what they do, I'm going to say, it's amazing, but I pass on the opportunity because I don't understand the space. Same thing for female investors, female entrepreneurs. The challenge they face is that it's often harder for women to raise money from male investors because simply they don't understand always the problems they're solving. It's not the problem of, it's not we can't put the blame on the men. It's simply that investors invest in what they understand. That's it.
Interesting perspective and important reminder, I think.
Yes.
Well, but what words of advice would you offer to an aspiring entrepreneur who has yet to start his or her first business?
The biggest, most important advice, and sometimes it's hard to grasp for some people. You're waiting for it, right? It's not rocket science, but very critical. Make sure you have clients waiting for your product before you build your product. Please do not build something and then look for clients. Don't. First, look for clients. Talk to your potential customer about the problem, about the journey. You know, there is a methodology that I teach within my programs, and it's not just me who teaches it. It's well known. It's jobs to be done. What are the jobs to be done? Go to your potential customers, talk to them about the problems they're facing, the journey as a customer within that problem. What are the solutions available? Let your customer tell you who are your competitors. Let your customer tell you what are the problems they're facing. Let them tell you what kind of solution they want, right? Then gather that feedback and design, shape something. And then you go back to your customer and say, would it look like this? You can do it on a PDF presentation. You could do it as a conversation. You could do it on a Google form. You can do it on a landing page if you want to look more fancy. But do not start building your app. And apps are pretty dead, let's say. But do not start building your software or your platform or your website even before making sure that people are waiting for you. Clients are waiting for you, willing to pay. You can test it via social media. You can test it by building a community. Bring them together. Ask questions like you do at your events.
Yes.
Get in touch with customers before building something for customers because it could be a waste of time.
I'm thinking of customer exploration interviews, open-ended, where you don't come in with the conversation with preconceived ideas and beliefs about what you think the market wants. Because the market is always right.
Yeah. And this is exactly the methodology with jobs to be done.
Yes.
You are not supposed to pitch your idea. You're not supposed to tell them what you want to build.
Yes.
You're supposed to understand what they go through.
Yeah.
So let's say if you want to, there's a, I don't know if I want to give that example, but it's a great example. Let's go for it. It's just a bit long. So McDonald's hired some consultants to understand why are they selling milkshakes at a certain time of the day and how can they increase the milkshake consumption of their potential customers and customers. Okay? And what kind of flavor would be more, people would want to buy more. So this is an interview you can find, a case study you can find on YouTube. Just do milkshake, jobs to be done, McDonald's, you'll find it. So the consultants went to the customers and long story short, they asked the customers not why they buy milkshake, but what is the journey? When do they go to McDonald's? What are they trying to solve? What is the problem they're trying to solve? Mm-hmm. What are the other solutions to that problem? And they realized that the customers told them, I go for milkshake because if I eat the donut, my wife would be so upset that I ate a donut. Banana, it could be an option. Banana, I tried that, but it's like you have the skin and it's dirty and it smells and so on. And actually, I go for milkshake because, it's exactly the time commute it takes me. It takes me 20 minutes. It's fun. I put it there. I sip on it. I'm stuck in the traffic jam. And, it makes my journey. It lasts. Sneakers, that's not so good. That's why I go for milkshakes. So they start to think about, okay, how can we improve the milkshake? What can we add to the milkshake to solve the problem, which is lasting during traffic jam? So then they added some crunchiness, some consistency to increase the consumption of milkshakes. So they didn't come with a solution. They didn't say, oh, you want to sell more milkshakes? Okay, let's add more flavors. Let's sell more milkshakes through the day or do something like that. They really asked the customer, what is the journey? What goes through their mind? What is behind their decision-making? And what is the decision-making process? And what are the problems they want to solve?
That's I didn't know that, but that's very interesting.
Very good example.
Yeah. So you talked a bit about your requirements, but could you mention like 2 to 3 specific criteria right off the bat?
Sales,
Clients.
tech, clients, honest founders. And to sum it up, now we are going to focus on our investment on companies we work with, because it's too easy to bullshit people. It's too easy to bullshit investors. I've been bullshitted as well. There's this new trend of founders who are charismatic, good storytellers, and pitch an idea and get you on board, and then don't deliver. They just take the money and literally go to Bali. Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 Arrows Capital.
Some others as well. So, I would say sales, honesty, and tech is important as well. But there are other elements.
So you mentioned honesty. I think that's a great quality and the requirement if you're going to.
And it's hard to evaluate. How do you know somebody's honest?
But are there any other qualities on a personal level that you would look for in an entrepreneur?
Yes, some very important ones. And being able to take feedback.
Yes.
Someone who doesn't take feedback is a red flag. And I can understand that founders, especially first-time founders, they're very protective. They think they want to do good, and they think that they need to look great in front of investors, that they need to know it all, that they need to be perceived as they have everything in control. But most investors, if you go to professional investors who do that as a main activity, they have seen hundreds, thousands of companies through their careers. Honestly, if they are professional investors, they probably know a little bit more than yourself at an early stage. So take their feedback. Of course, don't take feedback from anybody, irrelevant investors. Like, you're going to be, ideally, you profile your investors. You only talk to investors who are familiar with your industry, understand your problem, understand the tech and so on. But then accept feedback. And even if you don't want to listen to them, just be open to that feedback. Don't, like, I've seen some founders, I was interested in them, and I tell them, but how come why didn't you do it this way? What about doing it this way? Because I've seen many other companies in their space, and I'm suggesting other ways to hack their growth. And they're like, no, or thank you, or like this like passive-aggressive attitude, or, you feel it. And then I'm like, no. And if we can't have a conversation where they don't feel like they're under attack, I can't even be bothered. This is something I talked about with an investor, a very well-connected and active investor in the Nordics last week. And we talked about the ego of the founders. If we see a big ego, an ego that doesn't take feedback, an ego that is not humble, an ego that basically is immature, because they haven't been humbled by business and life, we're just not going to go there. They have their own journey. They still need to learn so much. The best founders are humble. Those that have raised billions, or have scaled companies internationally, they are humble. They are humble. They are not bragging. They are not into, they understand that life is a learning process.
Yes.
And nobody is better than others.
Yes. I've heard that success makes you humble because you have to go through so many hurdles to accomplish a certain result that it makes you grow as a human being.
Exactly. Success and failure. That depends how you... It's life that makes you grow. Yeah.
Yes. I like to see as... People say failure, but I like to see failure as feedback, opportunity to grow.
Yeah, of course.
So how should the founder plan the process of raising capital?
Yeah. It's an important process, and I wish I could sum it up in 2 minutes. When I work with founders on fundraising, it's a 4 to 6 months program in the best cases.
Yes.
So founders, first step, I would say, do you need capital? How can you get, can you sell more? Can you increase your prices? What is your runway? When are you going to run out of money? Have that timeline. Don't start to look for money when you should have gotten money yesterday. Plan that way in advance. 9 months, I would say, is the minimum. I met recently a company that told me, we just want to work hard and we just want to focus on the present moment, which I like, it's good. They want to get things done. And we will start, we need to fundraise. I'm like, but when are you running out of money? That's my question. I don't want it very specific. That's my question. When will you need money? Because right now you're on NAB or savings, whatever. NAB is an employment system in Norway. So whatever, but at some point you're going to run out of money because you're building a software and you don't have paying users yet. So what's the deal here? It's like, okay, so end of the year we'll run out of money. Like, this is in 6 months. Mm-hmm. So you guys should start looking now for investors.
So you should start looking immediately.
Immediately. I'm sorry, this is a hard job. You have to build a company, build a team, talk to clients. But if you're running out of money in 6 months, you need to start talking to investors now because it takes them time to get to know you. And it's going to take you time to understand fundraising. It's going to take you time to find the right investors.
Yes.
So maybe last point, because we can't cover everything now, it would be to profile investors. Who are the most relevant investors to you? Don't waste time with irrelevant investors.
Exactly.
Irrelevant events, irrelevant pitching events, if you don't know who's the audience. If you are into, let's say, fashion tech or fashion or e-commerce, go talk to investors who have invested in e-commerce. I give you an example. I have invested in a fashion clothing brand. They have a tech element, they have an e-commerce element, but in the end of the day, they are a fashion brand. So I connected them to, I approached a very active investor in the retail space and e-commerce space. And I told her, I have another fashion brand company I invested in. Would you like to invest in them? And I sent info, good traction, making money and so on. And she said, I don't do fashion. So she didn't care that it was e-commerce. In the end, it was a fashion brand. Even if it was within the same space. Investors invest in what they know. They don't rarely go this way or this way or this way.
Yes.
So focus on investors who know your industry, have invested in similar companies to you.
And build the trust. You mentioned trust because they're not going to invest in a stranger. They need a trust.
Yeah.
They need to see that you have the right qualities as a founder.
They need to know you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that goes back to you mentioned trust and you mentioned taking feedback as among other things. But what would you mention the 3 biggest mistakes a founder must avoid at all costs before entering conversations with investors?
Not being transparent, doing information retention, not wanting to open their books. I've seen that. I've seen a startup approaching me and telling me, we're closing around, blah, blah, blah. And already the founder had a big ego, so I was already big ego. I was following him on Instagram. I wanted to say social media to be very general, but it was Instagram. I was following him and I could just see his lifestyle. Ferraris, renting Ferraris for a day. And I was like, you're a founder. Where are you getting this money? I know you raised money before. So I was already like, not a good sign for me. You are spending money. You love spending money. You into entrepreneurship for the lifestyle, When I'm a founder, he thinks he's Jeff Bezos already, And they did not want to open their books when I asked for a few things. I asked for financials, said how are your spendings? Because I knew. And I would say another mistake that founders do is to think that the fundraising is quick. It's not. People are busy. Investors are busy. You are not their priority because they have a life. And you are their priority. You're not. They have tons of deals in the pipeline.
Yes.
So keep in mind that they're human beings with a job, with a family. And even if they're interested in you, it's not going to be, I love what you're doing, let's go. It's going to be, I love what you're doing, I need some time, I need some documents, I need this data, I need this, I need to sit down, I need to talk to my business partners and so on.
Yeah, I don't have more questions for you. You covered a lot. It was very valuable. Do you have any last words of insights or encouragement you'd like to share?
Make sure you have money before going into business. that you have savings for at least 18 months.
18 months.
At least, because it goes very fast. It goes very fast. Surround yourself with people who have done it before. Super important. It will just speed up your growth. Avoid mistakes and so on, because very quickly you can wake up and you're like, oh, it's been 2 years I've been doing this and nothing happened. And then you start running out of, you have run out of money a long time ago. And you start to reach out to investors and they see that you've been doing this for 2 years. They're like, come on, I'm not going to be the dumb one.
Yes.
Yes. You haven't figured out things. You should have sold before building. You should have built a community. You should have gained traction. You should have done this and this and this. So my last advice would be make sure you have a long runway. You have enough money to last. Make sure you make money as soon as possible. Don't fall in love with your idea and quit your job. Start, if you can, if it's allowed, start testing, at least testing before quitting your job. And have a backup plan.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there's so many founders out there, and I'm saying founders out there as if I haven't been one of them. I have been one of them.
Yes.
Many times.
Yep.
And we often fall in love with our ideas, and we believe that everybody's gonna join, and it's amazing, and we get we're just blinded by our vision, which we will realize if we don't have clients, nobody cares. It doesn't matter. That vision doesn't matter. I'm very tough on this, but better be harsh than idealistic and completely living in an illusion, which I've done as well, until I learned the hard way.
Yeah, that's how life is.
Yeah.
Raya, thank you very much for your words of insights, your wisdom.
Thank you.
And your sharing your experience.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
And talking with you.
We speak soon.
Yes.